Hello everyone. Today we're going to be talking about some decoration tips for Roblox Bloxsburg. So I hope you're having a great day and let's get right into it. We're going to start off with like a bedroom and what I think you should do for a bedroom. So as far as building a bedroom, I think that it should have enough space for a double bed even if it doesn't have one. So a double bed takes up 2 squares. So if you make your bedroom 4 by, let's say 4, that's about the right size because it fits basically all beds. So if you have this cool bed, which personally I don't really want, you could have pretty much any bed you wanted. And you could not even use advanced placement, you can do that. So I think that for beds, you should like stick a nightstand on the side of it, like this. Make sure you have a floor. Almost forgot that. And I think that you should have like a lamp on each table. Which lamp? That's your choice. Personally, what I think looks best is this one or this one. Maybe this one painted, but we'll use this one for now. Already, that adds quite a bit. Now, what I'll always do as well is I go storage, and I go to this traditional bookshelf. Because personally, I just think this looks awesome. I mean, just look at that. It adds so much texture. And then if you want even more, you can go a little further, and you can add a dresser in the middle of them. So now, you have the main functions of a bedroom done, basically. Now, I think as far as like where you should place your door, you should use like probably not the cheapest door, but you don't want like windows on it. This door is always my favorite, but you can always use another one. Alright, so now that we've got that, a lot of times here's what else I'll do. I will stick a window on the side right next to the lamp. And most people always forget this, but you're gonna want to add curtains on those because then you can actually close them if you want. So whichever curtains you decide, that's your choice. And I guess we'll have to delete the middle one. I always add shutters on the outside just because I think they look better, but that's your decision. So privacy blinds give you the most privacy, I guess, which is kind of interesting. Now, as far as above the dressers, what I will usually do is I'll usually well, what you should do, I think, is you should stick some photos on top of them. Now, the photos can really help. Even though this one's pink, you can always change the color. And I always like to go kind of opposite on each side. Now, as far as that, think about things that you might have in the bedroom. For example, a mirror. And let's see, what else would you have in a bedroom? I can't think of anything. Maybe for Halloween you could add a skull here right now. Now, for the wall behind it, you can see it looks kind of plain. So, what I usually do is you could do one of two things, or you could just do this. Sometimes you could place down a wall tile and it'll look real good. For example, just like that. Now, our bookshelves look kind of plain, don't they? So just by doing a few things, you want to alternate how you do this. So maybe have them go in an order or something. Fill up each bookshelf with maybe different books, because then there's some variation to it. And I always think that variation will make your build look so much better. Alright. So we've already turned bedroom into this pretty nice thing. Now, if we really think about this, it still seems like it's missing something, doesn't it? Now, this part is kind of your decision. As far as right here, I like to put in windows, like maybe a cylinder window. like this one. However, as you can see, it goes over those. So a lot of times, what I like to do is I will just place down, where is it? Maybe like not that, that's a little too big. Like, you'll want to place down some sort of decoration that you think will look good there. For example, you can see that I'm kind of struggling with this. That looks kind of good, doesn't it? So now it looks pretty good. We're just going to finish up the bookshelf real quick. Maybe stick this type of book on it. Quantum. Now it kind of looks organized, which I think that I like. But you can change anything if you really think about it. Like, you just have to put your mind to it. Now, most bedrooms will have, like, a TV. So what you can do is you can have a TV on this wall. Or, you could probably just find the little desk entertainment thing. Too big, isn't it? So we could just stick this down. And you could put a TV on that. Pretty easy. Now since you'll probably need something to wake up, and just put an alarm down, they're really cheap. And they add quite a bit. Now this side may be a radio so you can blast music. Now, let's just paint it real quick. Personally, I always choose white for rooms, like a bedroom, because white just makes it look bigger. Black will make it look really, really small. Okay. So those are the basic tips, I guess, or things that I think look good in a bedroom. Let's move on to the kitchen, shall we? For a kitchen, maybe a 5x5 area is about right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A tip for making walls is each wall costs $8. So do the math. For example, if I want a 7 wide one, then it's going to be $56. Let's test it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 wide. Alright. Now let's work on the kitchen. For a kitchen, you can either, like, the two ways that I think look the best is you can mainly have, like, it go like this, and you have it curved. Now, as far as the kitchen appliances, really, I wouldn't recommend using the really expensive ones because they're not really worth it. If you want a dishwasher and you want it to blend in, then here's a trick. You go here, you figure out whatever color those are, and you just boop. Now, as far as a stove, you're probably gonna want one. So you're gonna, like, the best one that I think you could have is probably like, where is it? Probably like this one. Looks best, I think. Now, I always put a hood over these because they just look best, or you don't have to. And then you stick cabinets in, and you've already got a pretty nice looking kitchen. For example, that can go there, this can go here. Make sure to add some variation to your builds, though. Otherwise, it won't look as good. So now that we've got that, as you can see, there is actually a shaker glass cabinet. So what I always like to do is I have one on the corner that's just the glass cabinet. As far as what to decorate this with, that is your decision. Usually I'll stick a microwave on the corner like this, because I think it's just easier to access. And maybe a coffee machine right there. Space them out a little, make sure to do that. And then maybe have a toaster like right there. Now you've got a pretty good kitchen. So as far as like where you would probably put the table, I guess, you could have a island, which I would probably just use like, where is it? Stick one of these down. Chairs. Choose whichever chair you like, but for islands, you'll probably want ones that are relatively tall. For example, this, I think this will look good. Okay. Lighting in the kitchen, you're probably going to want to have like a chandelier. Now, I usually choose to put chandeliers over tables because I just don't think they look good unless they're over a table. Now, we've got a pretty good kitchen. What I always choose to do is I always put this material down because it kind of gives me a kitchen vibe. But you can choose whichever material you want. Now, I think that for this little island, there isn't really much you can put in it. However, if you really want to go further and beyond, you could find the fruit bowl, and you could place one right there, and then maybe have a table runner. See, we barely added anything really, and there's, like, this already looks amazing. As far as, like, appliances, you can add whatever you want. I'm just not going to. And we have a fully functioning kitchen. We have a dishwasher, which really blends in, I think. Stove, that. And if you ever run out of room down here, a good tip is that you can actually use, like, you can open these. It's really, really useful, I think. And another tip is that this right here, you can use this to store liquids, which is very, very useful. So let's move on to, like, bathrooms, I guess. As far as bathrooms, I don't really like having some large bathroom in my house. So most people probably won't do this. I always make, like, this shape, I guess, for bathroom. And then what I have, I'll stick a door right here. And for bathrooms, you do not want a window in your door, trust me. And then for the corner, I usually stick this one because it's a high quality shower and it actually looks pretty good. And then choose whichever sink that you like the most. For example, maybe this one. That one looks pretty good. And then you find the toilet that suits you. Now your bathroom's already looking pretty good. Now you could probably add tiles. But make them a slightly different color than white because it'll look better in the long run or whatever. So as far as that goes, I think that we have a pretty good bathroom already. But just, since you see there's some open space here, what I will always do is if there's open space, I will almost never just forget about that open space. I'll put down a painting. Now that we've got that, probably going to want a mirror in there. So let's find the mirrors. Oh, caps lock. Now that you've got that down, now all we have to do is add a light switch and it's done. Now we have a fully functioning bathroom. Now, like as I said, I don't like having some large bathroom, but this just goes to show that you can make very high quality tiny things. Now, let's move on to living rooms. As far as living rooms go, 5x5 is probably right. So about the size of the kitchen. 5, 5, 5. Now for the living room, you're probably going to want to have one of these two items. A fireplace or maybe an instrument. I like to have instruments just because I think they look kind of cool. So maybe have it in a corner like that. And then maybe have all your couches over here. So I usually like to have at least 2 couches because, like, you never know how many people you're gonna have. And then maybe not a piano. It'll look good. And then just take up any space that you can. Because if you really think about it, you're probably not going to need that area over there. So just like kind of try to get rid of stuff that you don't need. Because otherwise you're going to end up with a ton of space to decorate. Now, probably going to want a pretty nice TV on that wall. You get the point. Or you can have a fireplace. Which, let's just build that right now. I've seen, like, a lot of people build really, really high-quality fireplaces. And they don't need to be that, like, advanced, I guess. You could just do this. Take up as much space as possible. And that already looks really good. Now you can just make the chairs slightly slanted. You give it the vibe that you want to be around the fire. Alright. Now, as you can see, this back wall is a little far back because we kind of adjusted a little. So maybe have it that far, that far, that far, and that far. Now we have a living room. It already looks decent, I guess. If you want to go even further, what you can do is you can stick these things in the corner. Where is it? A lamp. I just think that like having things symmetrical looks really good. And as far as in the living room, bookshelves, they look really cool. So I would recommend putting down some bookshelves. It adds a lot of detail. Most people don't realize that, but it adds quite a bit. For example, I'll just add, I'll kind of do what I did in the bedroom. I screwed that one up. Just having bookshelves in general, I think that it adds a ton of detail to your whole build. And it kind of, it changes it. It really does. So in the living room, you want as much natural light as possible. So you're probably going to want to use the thinnest window. So maybe not that one. Maybe this one. Yep. Like that. And then maybe for over here. I know that if you want more natural light, then you should definitely put more down. For example, this wall. And as I said, I always like to have shutters on them. Or we can just run out of money. So as far as that goes, I think that you should definitely have, add as much decoration as possible. It adds so much detail. For example, look at the living room now, and look at it now. See, that added just so much detail. And try to match things with, the surroundings. For example, how the couches are white, you change the bookshelves white, and maybe have this, the floor the same color as that. It adds so much detail. And also, if you really want to go above for paintings, you can go to Roblox Studio and you can make some custom paintings. Personally, I just think that having your own paintings always looks really, really cool. Now let's just add a door, and I believe that our living room is complete. Now we have a functioning living room with a fireplace, and it looks very cozy. So my main tips for decoration is go above and beyond. Put as much down as you can. The more you put down, the better. And try to kind of match colors, I guess. Make it fit your theme. For example, a theme here would probably be white, stone, and oak planks. You can kind of see where that's coming from, and it really makes sense, I guess. Anyway, I hope that this was helpful for you, and I hope that you use these tips in your next build. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!